Hello and welcome to Up the Turnpike, your source for New York Islanders content both here on YouTube and on Patreon, where we have a podcast that we record twice a week, a dedicated Discord server, a Friday six-pack, and so much more. So sign up today at patreon.com/uptheturnpike. In today's video, what we're doing is we're looking at uh-ohs for the Islanders 2024-2025 NHL schedule. And what I mean by uh-ohs is problem points, pinch points, pain points, whatever you want to call them. Problems in the Islanders' schedule. Now, this isn't a complaint about the schedule. I actually believe that the schedule is well done and well balanced. But however balanced you want to make this schedule, there's still going to be some periods or some things to consider as pain points on the overall schedule. So let's dive right into issue number one, which is away games-ish. What I mean by away games isn't just the mere fact that we have them, because we're going to have them. You need 41 away games in a regular NHL season schedule. That's just a fact. The problem is when you start grouping some of those away games together in extended road trips. Now, thankfully, the Islanders don't have any crazy 13-game road trip as we had a couple of years back, or even 9-game road trip in 2017, I think it was. Either way, we don't have anything quite that long. The longest road trip we have on the 2024-2025 schedule is 5 games, which isn't a lot. It really isn't. Again, not a complaint about the schedule, just a mere fact that a 5-game road trip is still going to be a pain point for the Islanders. Now, that road trip here is we're going to Western Canada to play Edmonton, Vancouver, then to Seattle, back to Calgary, and then Detroit. That's the 5-game road trip. Now, if you're not familiar with the NHL and just why an away game is a net negative, it's that the rules favor home teams. The rule book says that a home team gets the last change, which is a massive advantage in the NHL. And that advantage is obvious to see when you just look at the data points here. This site here I use for a lot of stuff. It's one of my favorite sites, killersports.com. I use it for handicapping NHL games, and you can use it for any other sport you see up top there. P.S. I'm not paid to say this. I'm just a fan. And so when you look at the straight up win rates for NHL teams in any season from 2006 all the way to 2023, which was last year, the highest win rate straight up is 48%. Away teams win at best 48% of the road games in a specific NHL season. That's as best as it gets. It happened in 2010 and in 2022. That's it. Most of the time, you're going to lose the road game. And so when you have a 5-game road trip, you're going to lose half. So more than half. 3 of the 5 road games here are probably going to be some form of a loss, whether it's a regulation loss or an overtime loss. And I don't know if you know this, but NHL teams try to maximize the number of wins and minimize the number of losses on the schedule. And so when you look at a specific 5-game group and say, we're going to lose half of those games, that's a problem. That's a pain point. That's a pinch point. Whatever you want to call it. That's what this is going to be for the Islanders schedule. Pain point number 2, don't look away from November because there's a lot of games here. Not only do we have this 5-game road trip, but there are 15 games in the month of November. Just look at that first full week there. You got 4 games, one every other night, that alternate between home and away. Now, I understand that technically speaking, when it comes to the Rangers, it's a home game. We're not playing on home ice, but we're a drive into the city away. So it's technically still a home game because they can still sleep in their home beds. But it is an away game. There is some travel involved, and they alternate that week. That is going to be a jam-packed week itself. And it's going to be a jam-packed month. You don't get more than a 2-day break, and that's because you're going on a West Coast road trip. It's going to be a tough month. So you add the pain point of that 5-game road trip to the pain point of a congested schedule, and November is probably going to be a problem for the New York Islanders. Ideally, we navigate that problem and come out with it with more wins than losses, but it's going to be an issue for sure in this month. And it's not the only month that we have 15 games in a specific month. March 2025 is the same thing. We have 15 games in the month of March of 2025. We also have our biggest break on the schedule with his 3 days, minus the Christmas break and the All-Star break. But still, That's the longest break we've got on the schedule is 3 days. But that just means that there's even more congestion in that month. Look at the last 3 weeks of that month. We go back out west, right? 3 games in California, a number of home games, but still every other night for what is at least 2 weeks, there's a game every other night. March is going to be a problem and is going to be tough for the New York Islanders. Now, when we look at schedules, there's 2 other pain points we typically look for, and that's back-to-backs and early games. And we're going to flip this here and look at some spreadsheet stuff. I'm sorry, I'm a massive nerd. I love my spreadsheets. And so we're going to look at some spreadsheets to look at how many back-to-backs we got and how many early games we've got and why that's a problem. Not a big one, but still a problem. So when you flip the screen here to my spreadsheet and we get to nerd out, in 2024, 2025, the New York Islanders will have 12 back-to-backs, which is up from last year when we had 10. So we've gained 2 back-to-backs. That's rough. You guys are tired, obviously. You need to manage the hell out of that game. Ideally, coaching staff and leadership are able to prepare the guys better than they did last year. And so when it comes to the second leg of a back-to-back, maybe we don't lose them as often as we normally do. Actually, let's just go look at this here. I want to rest equals 0. Oops, not O. What's the win rate when it comes to second leg of a back-to-back in every season going forward? From 2006 all the way to 2023. And it's just like road games. It's not any better than rounding up to 48.2%. The best year for second leg of back-to-backs in the league, 2009. So we ain't going to win most of those back-to-backs either. That's a problem. And we're going to look at the specific back-to-backs that we've got this year. We're going to look at the early games, not the back-to-backs. Sorry. So we have 12 back-to-backs instead of 10 from last year. Net gain of 2. In terms of early games, which we know anecdotally is a problem for the Islanders. Whenever they play early, and by early I mean before 4 o'clock Eastern time, the Islanders just don't do well. Again, anecdotally. So we've got 11 of those on the schedule, which is up by 3 from last year where we had 8. Ooh, so we're adding 3 games where we're just anecdotally not good. But unfortunately, the data backs up the anecdote. We have a 41.3 win rate when it comes to early games since 2018. Since 2018, we have a 41.3% win rate in early games. Again, anything before 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. That is the 8th lowest win rate in the NHL. So we ain't just anecdotally bad. We just bad when it comes to early games. For some reason, if the clock doesn't strike 7 o'clock on a puck drop, we struggle. And we're amongst some of the worst teams in the league, right? Some of the teams that are below us in terms of win rate in early games, you've got Anaheim, Chicago, Columbus, New Jersey for some reason, but they were bad leading up to this, obviously, with all those early round picks. San Jose, Seattle, St. Louis. You got some of the worst teams in the NHL there, and then the New York Islanders. So not good whatsoever. We've got more of these games where we're just not good. Again, ideally, coaching and leadership prepares the guys and has them ready to go, and so these early games aren't a problem. But when you look at those early games, there's a problem here. Not only are the early games in and of themselves, but most of them are away, which remember, the away win rate is just as bad as the second leg of a back-to-back win rate at 48%. 73% of our early games are on the road. We only have 3 at home, right? So Nashville, Calgary, and Washington. The only games where we play early that are at home. And one of these games later on in the year against New Jersey isn't just an early game, isn't just on the road, but it's the second leg of a back-to-back too. Look at this schedule. Look at this. April 2025. There. Like the third from the last game of the regular season, which could be deciding, we have an early game. They're both early away games, actually. The first one in Philly, 1 o'clock. The next one in New Jersey, again, 1 o'clock. Holy cow. That's a pain point, man. We have 3 early games in the span of a week in the month of April, where we play Washington, Philadelphia, and New Jersey. When you look at pain points and uh-ohs, that's one of them. April, in and of itself, the last week and a half of April is going to be a problem for the Islanders if they don't change their trend, right? The win rate at 41.3% when it comes to early games. Not bueno. This isn't to be all doom and gloom, but this is to put that in your hat and remember when the schedule comes around where the pain points are. We've got November, we've got March, and we've got April. There's going to be some pain points there, assuming the Islanders are what we know they are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Hit that subscribe button, and thank you.